Hello, today we are going to learn making measurements, the first chapter in Cambridge IGCSE. How important measurements for our life? Through this video, we hope students know how to make measurement of length, volume and time, how to increase the precision of measurements of length and time, how to determine the densities of solids and liquids. Measuring length. A rule is a simple measuring instrument with many uses. However, vernier calipers and micrometer screw gauge are instruments designed to give greater precision in measurements. Here we will look at how to use three of these. When we want to measure the distance of 2 points, make sure the zero sign at ruler is at the first point, then just check the second one. You can see the value right at the ruler. 6 meters. But sometimes we have condition when the starting point is not at 0, but in this case at 1. So 7 minus 1 equals 6 meters. And make sure the right side position. Incorrect eye position can cause a parallax error. Different with a ruler, the calipers have two scales, the main scale and the vernier scale. Together, the scales give a measurement of the distance between the two inner faces of the jaws. Now, how to use it? First, close the calipers so that the jaws touch slightly but firmly on the sides of the object being measured. Second, look at the zero on the vernier scale. Read the main scale just to the left of the zero. This tells you the length in millimeters. And finally, now look at the vernier scale. Find the point where one of its marking is exactly aligned with one of the marking on the main scale. Read the value on the vernier scale. This tells you the fraction of millimeter that you must add to the main scale reading. Now, look at these three vernier calipers. Can you determine what is the reading result? Yes, the first one is 42.7 millimeters, and then 5.50 millimeters, and third 37.46 millimeters. Of course, digital tools is the easiest one. Just read the screen and you can see the result. How about micrometer screw gauge? Parts are jaws, barrel, thimble, or we used to say fractional scale, and ratchet. Again, this has two scales. The main scale is on the shaft and the fractional scale is on the rotation barrel. The fractional scale has 50 divisions, so that one complete turn represents 0.50 millimeters. Read the main scale to the nearest 0.5 millimeters. In this case, is 18.5 millimeters. Add the main scale and then read the additional fraction of a millimeter from the fractional scale. In this case, we have 0.41 millimeters, so the total is 18.91 millimeters. Now, can you read this measurement result? Yes, this is 4.55 millimeters. Let's continue to measuring volume. For liquids, measuring cylinders can be used. And don't forget, adhesion is responsible for a meniscus when water is observed in a glass container, because the water clings to the glass around the edges. For a regularly shaped object, such as a rectangular block, measure the length of the three different sides and multiply them together. For example, if the length is 5 centimeters and width 5 centimeters and also height 5 centimeters, so the total volume is 125 centimeters cubed. Most objects do not have a regular shape, so we cannot find their volumes simply by measuring the length of their sides. Here is how to find the volume of an irregularly shaped object. This technique is known as measuring volume by displacement. First, select a measuring cylinder that is about 3 or 4 times larger than object. Partially fill it with water, enough to cover the object. And then, immerse the object in the water. The level of water in the cylinder will increase. The increase in its volume is equal to the volume of the object. In this example, 75 milliliters become 100 milliliter. The increase is 25 milliliter, so the volume of the object is 25 milliliter. Next is measuring mass. The three beams on the balance are used to set the lever position, with each beam working at different increments, 1 till 10 grams, 10 grams, and 100 grams. In this case, you can see 500 grams plus 40 grams and then plus 2.4 grams equal 542.4 grams. Nowadays, many of us using digital balance. Our eyes can deceive us. When we look at an object, we can judge its volume. However, we can only guess its mass. We may guess incorrectly because we misjudge the density. The mass of an object is the amount of matter it is made of. Mass is measured in kilograms, but density is a property of a material. It tells us how concentrated its mass is. In everyday speech, we might say that lead is heavier than wood. We mean that, given equal volumes of lead and wood, the lead is heavier. In scientific terms, the density of lead is greater than the density of wood, so we define density as shown in words and as an equation. Now, look at the explanation. How to determine density? First step, measure empty beaker mass. Measure full beaker mass. After that, we can find the mass of water. Subtract full beaker by empty beaker. So in this case, 120 minus 20 equal 100 grams. Now, look at the beaker glass. The water volume is 100 milliliters. So the density is equal mass divided by volume. The mass of water is 100 grams divided by volume is also 100 but in milliliter units. So the density is 1 gram per milliliter. Now look at this problem. You can solve the density like this. The finally is measuring time. Look at these tools: watch, analog stopwatch, and digital stopwatch, or handphone, or sunglass. A stopwatch is a handheld timepiece designed to measure the amount of time that elapses between its activation and deactivation. A large digital version of a stopwatch designed for viewing at a distance, as in a sports stadium, is called a stop clock. In manual timing, the clock is started and stopped by a person pressing a button. In fully automatic time, both starting and stopping are triggered automatically by sensors. The timing functions are traditionally controlled by two buttons on the case. Pressing the top button starts the timer running, and pressing the button a second time stops it, leaving the elapsed time displayed. A press of the second button then resets the stopwatch to 0. The second button is also used to record split times or lap times. When the split time button is pressed while the watch is running, it allows the elapsed time to that point to be read, but the watch mechanism continues running to record total elapsed time. Pressing the split button a second time allows the watch to resume display of total time. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.